What's going on, everybody? The Hair here. Excited, very pumped up for WWE Survivor Series 2021. This is the spoiler show. Now, not as pumped as I would be because they put zero effort into this build-up. This had almost zero build-up for the Survivor Series pay-per-view, which is part of your top four. Again, I know I'm being negative right away, but there was zero build-up for this. So that bothers me for sure. And it tells you there when Vince isn't heavily invested in the current product, it shows drastically because there was zero build-up. There was no qualifying matches. The weeks leading up to Survivor Series should be the easiest shows to book because you're talking about captains, you're talking about qualifying matches, champion versus champion, all that good stuff. They've done a horrible job building to it. But nonetheless, here we go. We're at Survivor Series. This is the spoiler show. Let's get straight to it. First off, you have SmackDown Tag Team Champions versus the Raw Tag Team Champions. You have the Usos versus RK Bro, and currently right now they have the Usos going over, the Bloodline's very strong, so on and so forth, so we'll see, but they have the Usos going over right now against RK Bro. Next you have Shinsuke Nakamura going against Damian Priest, Intercontinental Champion versus United States Champion. The product is very much behind the machine is very much behind Damian Priest, one of the only NXT call-ups that the machine is very much behind. They have Damian Priest going over, so great for Damian Priest. Next, you have Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch. They had that awkward moment last time where they had the real beef going on. Who knows what's going on behind the scenes with that? I personally believe Charlotte Flair is leaving to AEW as soon as she can, but we'll see. We'll see. The machine is still very much behind her, but they're a lot more behind Becky Lynch. So the current spoilers have Becky Lynch going over on Charlotte. Next, you have the Women's Survivor Series match. Where do I start with this? They had, again, zero build-up. They announced the teams, the men's and women's teams, on Twitter on the weekend. So zero qualifying matches. They just put it out on social media. If you have a Twitter, to check that out, or just look it up on Bleacher Report. They showed it. That's the only way you initially saw the teams. It was horrible, very ugly. I don't like how they did that. It was like, put some effort into it. Please put some effort into it. Nonetheless, basically on Team Raw, you have Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Carmella, and then Zelina Vega versus Team SmackDown, which is Sasha Banks, Shayna Baszler, Blackheart, Natalya, and then a mystery partner. Currently, right now, they have Team SmackDown going over, which is somewhat of a surprise to me, but because of what I'm going to tell you next. Currently, the women's SmackDown team is going over. Next, you have the men's Survivor Series match, which consists of Team Raw, Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, Rey Mysterio, and Bobby Lashley, that was the only somewhat of a build-up they had on the Team Raw. They had Bobby Lashley take out Dominic Mysterio, and he joined Team Raw, which was kind of cool. I mean, you want Lashley on the team, but they should have had qualifying matches. That was, I guess, your only qualifying match they had. Versus Team SmackDown, which consists of Drew McIntyre, Jeff Hardy, Xavier Woods, Sami Zayn, and Baron Corbin. Currently, right now, they have Team SmackDown going over, which I'm surprised they have both men's and women's SmackDown teams going over, which is even a bigger surprise because, and I hope Bobby Lashley doesn't get pinned. I hope he gets something fishy happens. I want him to be protected. Main event, you have champion versus champion, WWE champion Big E versus Universal champion, who is Roman Reigns. Of course, you have your tribal chief going over. Roman Reigns won't lose until he fights The Rock in about a year and a half, and even then, I'd hope Roman Reigns goes over on him. Big E's great. He's good. Took a picture with him. He's great, but I also took a picture with Mr. Roman Reigns. Awesome dude. You're the best thing going on in wrestling. There's no way you have Big E beating Roman Reigns. Even if it's a screwy thing, Roman Reigns will go over. So currently the spoilers, you have Roman Reigns, which is the SmackDown champion, going over, the women's team going over from SmackDown, and the men's team from SmackDown going over on the current spoilers. So very dominant for SmackDown this year's Survivor Series. We shall see. This is the Hair.